Please stop drinking water. All water. First thing you need to know about me is that I'm a serial killer. Second thing you need to know about me is that I'm a sociopath. So when I say I'm a bad person, it shouldn't really surprise you at all. It's probably the only true thing I'll ever say. What if I told you there's something worse out there than people like me? Something so evil it knows how to hide in plain sight. I'm just a person, and if you're careful enough, you can avoid me. But where do you run when that thing hunts you? It's the thing you rely on most. The thing that keeps you alive. Let me backtrack a bit. Second time I was let out of prison, I was on a sheer technicality. I had dismembered a man for cutting me off in traffic, left his body in an alley for the rats. By the time they found him, he had no face left. But they found him sooner than I had planned. There was enough DNA to catch me, but because evidence was tampered with too much by the rats, it had eventually come down to be thrown out despite it seeming like an open and shut case. My lawyer, the biggest slime ball I could find to represent me, took it up to the judge and hey presto, I was out. The thing is, I hunted him. I hunt all my prey. Stalk them through the cities, learn their routines. I wait for them to make some slight, insulting error against me. And that's what makes them my target. I've killed close to 80 people and I've got away with it. This is because murder is craft. The longer I practice, the better you get at it. I don't have a backstory of abuse. I don't have any trauma that made me this way. I was simply born an evil son of a bee. And I really don't care to justify myself. This world is a trash heap, and I'm simply making the best of it by doing what I enjoy most. Anyway, I digress. One of the cautions the judge did give me was to join a support group for ex-felons, and this is my second time being out of prison. I had rolled my eyes at the time and said yes, but only because I really wanted to get out. I hadn't killed in over a month. So the withdrawal symptoms were making my hands shake. Look, I went because I was bored. I knew I was being watched, so I didn't do anything outwardly out of my routine. I had to keep pretending I was boring checkout clerk at grocery. This was a big city, and crimes happen all the time. All the police department is understaffed and struggling with corruption. It's a win-win situation for the ones of us that like to kill, meow, or otherwise hurt. The moment I entered that place, I made my first mistake. I rolled my eyes back because I thought I was full of exactly what kind of people that would make me excuses. I think their actions were of the moral high ground and tried to excuse the despicable things they did. I hurt people because I've been hurt. Or I just did it in the moment of anger. I'm really not like that, I swear. Please, we are all evil a-holes. I'm just the only one who doesn't lie to myself about it. It was a big room. Possibly an auditorium, wooden floors, a stage, that kind of thing. If you can picture a school's assembly room or hall, this is probably what it would look like. The guy leading us was a picture of a moral superiority. He wore glasses, a suit, and carried a clipboard. He had this weird vibe about him that someone in power gets when they aren't used to it. He cleared his throat and took attendance. Like we were in 7th grade, I caught some of the others rolling their eyes. When he had at last hit the last name, he drew a deep breath and then began. Right, so I thought we could go one by one and introduce ourselves. The name, the thing that brought us here. No one said anything. Let out a little irritating squeak from his nose at this. Fine, I'll choose then. Jonathan. The guy called Jonathan, an olive-skinned, dark-dyed, brooding man with a black hoodie, looked up in annoyance. Judge brought me here, he grunted. A few snickers greeted this. Clipboard wasn't having it, though. Why were you before a judge? He glared at Clipboard. I killed my wife. This is where things got weird. Clipboard grinned widely and began to clap. The 7 out of the dozen joined him. The other 5 of us sat in confused silence. Excellent. And what did you do to her? There's a look in Clipboard's eyes that makes me uncomfortable. And let me remind you, I am a sociopath. I don't get uncomfortable. There was silence for a second, and then Jonathan continued, in disgruntled look gone. I used the butcher knife and stabbed her 21 times. Give me more detail. Clipboard was salivating. And unless the looks were deceiving me, his face was turning before my eyes into something grotesque. What is this? I'm not doing this. I'm out of here. Jonathan stood up and stormed to the closest door, and before he could get there, the door slammed and locked. He tried to walk to another door. That one slammed and locked too. The five of us who had not clapped, Jonathan included, sat in shock, dazed. But for some reason, none of us tried to move. I tried to lift my legs, but I was rooted to the spot. Let me introduce myself. Now that I have your attention, said Clipboard smoothly, his eyes twinkling at our discomfort. I am Dr. James Harvard, and all five of you have passed. I found my voice. What have we passed? This evil ale chuckled. Why, my dear boy, the test, of course. You are the five most evil humans on this planet, but first, he pulled out a small, thin, pointed, medieval-looking object. He threw into Jonathan's groin. It met its mark, and Jonathan fell. The scream destroyed every eardrum in the hall. Every man felt sympathy for Jonathan as he wept and wailed and lay on the floor in a pool of his own blood, but none of us were brave enough to do anything. We, he gestured to the other 7 people before him, have been looking for people just like you. People we can use as experiments. Another man, smaller and mean-looking initially, but now wearing a look of absolute terror on his face. What kind of experiment? The organization I work for is a very old one, he said, sitting back in his chair. We have been known as different things through history. Some of you may have even heard we are responsible. He leaned forward, his eyes dangerously glittering with madness that sent chills down my spine. For the corruption of the collective human consciousness. What? The word rang out, and no one knew who spoke it. Every year since before history was named history, we took people. Evil people. We harnessed their evil, turned their evil into these. He lifted a vial of dark purple liquid from his pocket, and then we put them into the water, the ocean, the river, everything that people drink. You must understand it is a slow process, millennia in the making. This inventing of human disease, sociopathy, psychopathy, seeds of evil in every man, woman, and child, slowly being sown. He stood up and walked to each of us, carefully sizing us up. I flinched the first time in my life when he approached me. You are the prototype of exactly what we want filling this world. Each and every one of you. Once people lose the ability to hope and care, they embrace their evil. And then you will start to kill each other, indiscriminately. The good and meek will die. And we will have is a planet full of evil. But why? I spoke the words without even realizing it. That guy got super close to me, his eyes on mine, and smiled so wide it was like human. His words were slow, cold, and evil. I'll never forget them for the rest of my life. Because hell's running out of room, and the demons need a place to stay. All this happened yesterday. We were told to go home, sort out any business we needed to come back in 3 days. I'm writing this to you from my room at midnight before I turn myself into the police tomorrow morning. Hopefully in prison they won't come back for me. They won't find me. I've never been afraid in my life, but I am now. I'm the last person to care about the planet. What I learned yesterday has terrified the humanity into my bones. I don't know what I'm asking for is impossible, but please, stop. Stop drinking water.